Welcome back to Fernando Sandwich with Fernandita. We're back here. Our next guest is very interesting. He's wrote a book called Pros and Cons. Gentleman Paul Fazio, who's coming today as an author, has written an amazing book that we have the privilege to been able to read some of this book. We're still working on the book, but he, like Marcela said, 25 years of law enforcement. You know, he's better to say it would be him. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is very nice to have you on our show. I think the first question I'd like to ask, as a first-time author, let me see how my question here is. How do you find the process of writing? What's the process of writing, and what makes it difficult in writing?
I didn't find the process of writing itself difficult. Co-authoring it with my brother Michael, that was another challenge. Yeah, I mean, you know, we grew up, you know, as kids together, and pretty much fought from the small ages to still fighting now. So that brought an element of energy to the book that I actually think it benefited and made the characters more interesting, made them more multi-dimensional by getting different perspectives from the both of us.
And I know that the book is your brother and yourself, two men that you know, born or raised in Quincy, and then obviously the book came about where it is. So esto estamos hablando de dos personas individuales, son hermanos,
sí.
Pero fueron
que han peleado toda la vida.
Pelean y han peleado, pero a la misma vez les ha ido muy bien. Tell us about what makes the suspense thriller and the pros and cons unique.
Well, I think what's unique about it is that between my brother and myself, we have a background. We're both military guys. I was Army, he was Air Force. I have, you know, 28 years in law enforcement right now, and he's an international businessman. We've seen a lot of the world. We both lived in different countries throughout the world, and we are able to bring a good story with those experiences. It's a very real story. It's fiction, but it's real. And the amazing thing is that while we were writing this, and the things seemed to jump out into the newspaper and the news of stuff we were writing about: immigration, gang violence, drug trafficking, prostitution. I mean, you know, you have a governor taken out of a state for that. Right. And this is all relevant stuff in the book. And it made it very, I think that it made it interesting, it made it relevant. The other thing is we exposed some cultural taboos, and I think we wrote about some areas of lifestyles, if you will, that most people don't know about. People who go, you know, internationally throughout the world with what they call erotic vacations. You have millions of people, millions of men who basically follow an international sex guide. It's a way of life. It's a lifestyle that most people don't know about, but it's true, it's real, and it's out there. And
the next question I'm going to be asking, which has to do with immigration, you should also know that Paul has lived in Honduras and has traveled a lot to the Dominican Republic. So, you know, with that a little bit, and the fact that he's Italian, so he's Latin around. He's a Latin around kind of guy. But
mix it all in.
But
right?
that would be my thing. You know, but with this, tell us a little bit about the gritty subject in immigration and drug trafficking, both with men and women.
Well, you know, the way we wrote the story, first off, is we knew we had an exciting story to tell. What we needed to do is we needed to make an exciting story that men and women would read. And because of the gritty subject matter, that was something that we really had to work on. We were pretty confident that if it was well written with strong characters, women would read it. Men, on the other hand, like myself, tend to read an awful lot of nonfiction. We think we need to learn, you know? So we try to put things into the book that was actually knowledgeable, that you would learn. But obviously, it's a pretty edgy story. And we think we did it in a way that both men and women readers are enjoying it. We're getting great feedback. And I think we did it in a way, told a story about some very sensitive subjects in a way that we didn't jump on a soapbox and we didn't take sides and preach. Anything from, you know, prostitution, for instance, or gangs. We did not try to show one side of it. We tried to show all sides of it. I think we accomplished that.
I was listening to what you were saying, and you mentioned about the feedback you're getting, and I understand you also had 1,000 copies shift to the Middle East. Tell us about that.
Well, we were fortunate to be able to collaborate with a great organization called Operation Paperback, and it's a bunch of people who support the troops, especially the ones in war zones like the Middle East. We were able to send Christmas gifts over to them, and through Operation Paperback, help us get our book over to them. And we figured, hey, if the military soldiers like this book, then we're okay. And the great thing right now is we are getting emails back from soldiers saying, loved your book. You know, it really helped me get through some tough time over here. It's a great escape. The story is a great escape, and if we can do that with the soldiers over there, hey, I'm already happy.
You're done, huh?
I'm a happy guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I found the characters, the pros and cons, very compelling. Tell us a little bit about that. Just the characters themselves. I mean, you have a diverse kind of characters in this book.
Well, I think that's the best part of the story. I mean, you know, you have all the subject matter, but what happens is you get invested in the characters. The good guys, the bad guys. You realize the bad guys aren't always bad all the time, and the good guys aren't always good all the time. They're very complex people.
I mean, you have Joe, you have Rachel, you have Frank, Alex, and Miguel. You know, it's like a family affair.
Well, it's a local story. It's based in Boston, but like we said, it's international. We take it through Europe, and a lot of it is in the Dominican Republic. I think we take some very hard looks at what it's like to come to this country from the Dominican Republic in pros and cons, trying to survive, trying to make it, and you know, there's a lot of hysteria going on. There's a lot of politics that affects people, everyday people. It's not just criminals. And you know, the story has a lot to do with prison. It's not totally a prison story. It's definitely a character-driven story. It's got strong female characters in it, which we absolutely knew was going to be an essential part of the book. In law enforcement, it shows Detective Rachel Feliz of the Boston Police and a superintendent in charge of the correctional facility in the book, Devin Burke. We try to portray and depict how difficult it is, not just for a woman to be in these male-dominated fields, but to excel in them. And again, from the feedback that we're getting from, you know, my fellow people in corrections, especially the women, I think we hit a home run.
Excellent.
Excellent. I want to ask a quick question.
Please.
That's not in the script. It's everything I don't want to read it.
Oh no, I may not be able to answer it.
No, this is a true question. So
Sure.
I'm just interested, what made you write the book after so many years of being involved? Like you and your brother, what made you say like, okay, we have to put this on paper for
That's
people?
actually a great question. We were in the Dominican Republic. We were taking a vacation down there, and you know, just everyday conversation about, hey, what was the hottest movie? What are the good books out there right now? And we've always wanted to challenge ourselves and say, you know, that was a great book. Boy, we've got some stories. Why don't we do it? And it got to that point where we said, well, are we going to or are we not? And we tried it. We gave it a shot. We think it'll be a great movie. But, you know, first things first. And, you know, we gave it our best, and I think we did well.
You know, you're going to tell us where folks can get this book, and at the same time, what would you say to get someone intrigued into wanting to read this book? What would you say to someone? Say, well, read this book.
Well, the thing, excuse me, I would say that if you're looking for a suspense thriller, if that's the genre you're looking for, and you're looking for a fresh new author, it's right here. It's everyone that has read this right now has just said that how they couldn't put it down, and the ending of it is something that people are talking about all over the place. And that's exciting to us that we're getting feedback like that, that people are enjoying the story so much. It's a great read. It's topical, it's local, but it has a lot in it that will not just entertain you, but it'll make you think. You'll be questioning some things that you may not know about that go on every day in our lives.
Excellent. Well, Paul, we want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Great extras on your book there, and please do come back again and tell us more about how.
Thanks so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely.